We're gonna do a song that you never heard before.
Hear the drummer get wicked. Here we go again. Ace Kennedy, my brother from another mother. What's happening?
What's going on?
Man, you know what? Long week for me though, man. Been pretty chaotic though, man. So I'm glad we here.
Yeah, it's been a long week for me, but myself.
Yeah.
I understand exactly what you're talking about.
Well, listen, man, we got some things to get into. Can we get that music, sir?
We're gonna do a song. It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
Can you dig it, sucker? Suck.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time.
Try Jesus, not me, 'cause I throw hands. Try Jesus, please don't try me, because I'm fine.
Ace Kennedy, it's Friday, man. Let me hear it. The best thing you've seen all week.
That's a tough one, man. It's been an interesting week. I guess the best thing I can say is I got to see some family this week. Got to see some old classmates. That was definitely dope. And the grown-up version of me got to see my brand new refrigerator. So that's super dope. But yeah, love to spend time with the fam. Got to see my brother-in-law, got to see my nieces and nephews, saw the folks, hung out with them while they bowled in their bowling league. So yeah, it was dope.
So you was out in the K then.
Yeah, it was in Killeen. That's why we didn't pod on Tuesday. Unfortunately, we had the untimely passing of David Brown, one of our good friends, and I was there, supporting Naya through this, and so yeah, was there for the funeral, the memorial service, the whole nine, and so yeah, unfortunate way to be home, but nonetheless, it was still good to see people. So.
I saw some of the pictures, man. It's always unfortunate that funerals oftentimes turn into family reunions, though, man. But still, nevertheless, good to see the folks, though, man. Like I know that at the last funeral I went to, that was that way was my grand. So my grandmother passed away, and I believe it was also both of them when they passed away. And when that happened, though, man, I think that I had saw some cousins of mine that unfortunately I haven't seen in a long time. Some of them was first times that I seen them as well, though, man. So, and I think at that time, though, bro, I was like, 31 and just seeing some cousins for the first time, though, man. So yeah.
Yeah. What about you, though? Best thing this week?
Man, so, for me, man, I've been kind of low key this week, though, man. I've been in the house for the most part all of this week, though, man. And so for me, the best thing that I've seen this week is that the NBA is back, man. I've been very excited because I think that it's the 75th anniversary in NBA. And I think that now that fans are back in the stands across all arenas, I'm excited about this season, though, bro, because I think that this one could be one of those monumental seasons that I think a lot of people just don't quite recognize. But so I was excited that the NBA was back. Saw a couple of games already. And aside from that, though, man, we are getting ready for rec basketball out here. And so I had to, so my dude was playing AAU, wanted to take a break from it, especially around COVID. The hustle and bustle of AAU games and tournaments and paying entry fees for the weekend and all that other stuff, though, was crazy. So Landon took a little break, and then probably for the last little while, man, he's been hooping out there with me in the summertime and playing with the grown men. So now I'm trying to ease him back into the organized with rec ball. So we playing rec. I got a meeting this weekend, a coaches meeting, but I didn't want to coach him. And he had asked me, "Are you coaching?" You know, I'm saying they needed a coach. So I'm trying to get me and my boy Courtney to be the coach and assistant coaches, though, man. It should be real dope, man.
That's dope, bro. I am excited about this basketball season, but I still feel like it's a little tainted with some of the main guys out. If
Tainted?
Yeah, like I'm saying, I want to see everybody out there, bro.
Who's missing? That you.
I want to see Brooklyn at full strength. I want to see Philly at full strength. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't necessarily mean with Kyrie on the Nets and with, you know, Ben Simmons on Philly. I'm just saying I don't want like the looming not knowing, you know what I'm saying? Like I want to see, I don't want any excuses. That's the thing. Every year we always have this excuse. Oh, well, if such and such wasn't hurt, then da. If you know what I'm saying, and I get it. I know injuries and stuff is a part of it. So the injury part, I'm not so much tripping about, but I am tripping about, you know, unfortunately, people can't play because of, you know, the vax, and then also, you know, some personal stuff with Ben Simmons. So I just want to see people at full strength. That's the only thing I'm saying. Not about the actual reason why they aren't there. I just want to see people at full strength.
Well, let's talk about Ben Simmons, and we got to have it. It's a daily Woj bomb. It's a daily update. The latest was that he met with these people and said that his back was sore, back tightness, and he just said mentally he's not ready to go out there, though, Ace. What do you make of this latest Ben Simmons update?
Well, you know, as somebody who struggles with mental health, I never play around with it. So I'm not going, if he says that that's what it is, I'm not in a position to say otherwise. You know what I'm saying? The thing is we don't know how much what Doc Rivers said affected him, and the stuff that Embiid said affected him, and to go back to, and then the fans. So to go back into that type of environment where the fans are, you know, basically destroyed you all summer, and after you lost, and then to go into a place where that you're really not wanted, that could be something of a difficult thing. And I'm not in his position to judge or say anything otherwise than take him at his word. You know, I'm big into that. When people say something, I have to take them at their word.
So you know me, and reading in between the lines, what I'm hearing, bro, is Ben Simmons still saying, I'm not rocking with y'all. So I think Ben Simmons is saying, hey, my back is a little stiff, because who are you, right? Even as a doctor for your team, your team's doctor says, no, you look fine to me. You know, you look good to me. Your back doesn't look, it actually feels looser than loose. And they may just be like, nah, he might just be. So I think that he's going to do a combination of this. This is the thing about when you think about this, we've seen this before, right? Not just he's doing, Ben Simmons is doing the combination of Kyrie, James Harden, and Kawhi Leonard all in one go around, right? Here I'm going with it. Kawhi Leonard had his knee issue, right? And what's crazy about it is that the Spurs doctors cleared him to go. And Tony Parker said, dude, I had the same exact injury, and my knee was worse than yours, and I'm back out here. And Kawhi Leonard was like, forget what y'all talking about. I know my body. Even though they cleared him, he was ready to get up out of Dodge. And so he basically said, hey.
Kevin Durant's doctors cleared him too. And you see what happened to him.
Well, that's true. That's very true. But then here's the other part. So, but I think that he's looking at some back tightness and back stiffness, though, man. And I'm thinking that he's saying, like, listen, bro, I know that what you might be able to tell from feeling my back, I can tell you my stuff is tight. I get that. So he's scratching the Kawhi Leonard off the list, but then he's also doing the Kyrie mental health. Kyrie checked out for a couple of games, didn't explain to anybody, said that he was taking some wellness time away. And like you said, you got to respect that somebody's trying to address their mental health. I totally get it. I think that that's what he's doing, and I think that he's also doing the being slightly disruptive to the team by and reiterating they didn't want to be there. But Ace, my question for you is this. Daryl Morey, their GM, said, hey, this could be a 4-year deal trying to get him traded. And he has a point because he's out there with 4 years left. But my question to you is that if somebody has said, hey, I do not want to be on this team. If you're a player, right? And if somebody has made that known, do you still want to play with him thinking that he may be like low-key sabotaging the team because he doesn't care?
Well, I think there's a number of ways to work around it. At the end of the day, the 76ers still have the upper hand. It doesn't matter. The thing is if I would want Ben Simmons to be a professional and for him to go out there and do what James Harden did. Okay. James Harden at least showed up. At least. You know what I'm saying? Now, what did he look like when he showed up? And I ain't even talking about physically. I'm just talking about how he looked on the court, whatever the case may be. But I say that's what I wish he would do. I say that, but at the same time, I respect players taking the power in their hands because when the team is done with you, they're done with you.
John Wall.
Right. So my thing is that I'm not in a position again to tell Ben Simmons what he should and should not do. I just personally, like I said from the top, is that I would love to see him playing, is what I'm saying. But at the same token, if he can afford the fines, if he can afford, all of that stuff, then so be it. But unfortunately, the 76ers have the power in their hands at this point because they're the ones that can push the button on the trade. But they're not like I understand what Morey said too. He's like, listen, we could make a trade right now, but we're only getting role players back. And
let's think about this though. Let's talk about this. Is where I think that this is why I think Ben Simmons is doing that, right? Because I think that Ben Simmons is looking at John Wall, who John Wall still has like 3 years left on his deal. And John Wall says, listen, I just want to get paid. I'll be here and we can do it here or whatever. And they basically told John Wall, who still has $90 million on his contract left. And they basically told John Wall, like, listen, bro, to be honest, we want to play these young boys and we don't see you anywhere in the present, in the future, our plans and everything like that. So with that being said, they just said, stay in shape. I don't know if he's coming to the facilities, but I don't think John Wall comes to the game, but they just said, listen, stay at home until we can find you a trade partner. And the biggest thing about that is that John Wall's contract is so ridiculous, right? That nobody's going to trade for him this year, right? Because
not necessarily. This is why I say that. I don't mean to cut you off. I think that what's going to happen with John Wall and Ben Simmons, when it get closer to that trade deadline and teams have seen how their teams are playing, and if some teams feel like, look, we're a piece away from doing this, that's when people will start to make moves. Like I said, the Clippers is who I got my eye on. I think because of the fact you don't know when Kawhi's coming back, he has the money to do it. That's somebody who I'm keeping an eye on. I'm also keeping an eye on the Suns because of the fact that they're not paying Ayton, whatever his name is. That's another team that I'm keeping an eye on. Any contender I'm watching, and I'm also watching the Nets because the thing is now that Kyrie has personally come out and said that he is not retiring. Now that doesn't mean he's going to re-sign with a team, but he said he's not retiring. Then that's another thing, because here's the thing. We watched Brooklyn play against Giannis them, the Bucks, and the fact that they were missing some sort of firepower. And we've talked about it offline, saying, I told you I felt like Harden just wasn't aggressive enough. He was still looking to be a facilitator, but there was no other person really to score. So that's going to intrigue somebody down the line too, because they are in it to win this year, just like the Lakers are in it to win this year. So yeah, I'm just saying when that trade deadline gets closer, that's when I can see those two pieces probably moving around.
I think, bro, is just gonna for I get that for Ben Wilder, but Ben Simmons got it, but for doggone John Wall, I feel terrible for him though, man, because his contract was set up such that he would be with a team forever. Like he basically had his contract brilliantly set up to where the boatload of his new money didn't start until after his old contract in, where so a lot of people just start over, right? And so I think that what that did is that basically meant that, hey, he was making about $20 million, a season. And then he was basically saying, okay, well, that'll give you some flexibility to bring in other players or whatever. And then my $40-some million contract, that's the security, right? That's to say, well, like LeBron said, like as long as we're competing, that contract isn't going to be that it isn't going to look as bad. But then what made it really look as bad was the fact that, Washington wasn't winning like that. It was just Wall and Beal, and you'd like to think that that's enough. They never got more than just the 4th, 5th seed in the league. And then, once he started to get injured and everything like that, and it's like, all right, well, now the contract looks like trash because you're no longer affording the team to take advantage of you making $20 million, though. But I feel more bad for John Wall that he's ready and able to play. And he's sitting here, and the Rockets are saying, all right, well, the Rockets aren't trying to withhold his money. They're paying him $40 million a year to not play. And I think it just almost feels like Carmelo Anthony-ish, right, where they're trying to let his contract play out a little bit and be softened up for another team that didn't play. But then it's like if you're John Wall and you're able-bodied and you want to get on out here, then it's like so that's why I don't have a problem with what Ben Simmons is doing, because it could very well be the flip side of it where the actual franchise takes it away. Like what happens if Ben Simmons wanted to play, but the franchise didn't want him? They would just have him sitting at home. So I don't know, man.
I get that. And that's why I'm saying, like, I am not going to tell him what he should do. That's, I mean, I hear like Stephen A and all them other analysts saying what he should do. And I'm just like, you're not in his shoes.
Well, so we know what Stephen A's goal is.
Of course. But my thing is that with John Wall, I do hope he shows some training videos, some hype videos or stuff of him doing stuff to show teams he is still active. I mean, you see what happened to Oladipo, you see what happened to Boogie Cousins, you see what happened to Isaiah Thomas, like all these cats that was like making that money at one point and then boom, it's over. So for him, I get it why you just hold on to that money, because you don't know where that money's coming from in the future.
I saw something on Bleacher Report that is a deal that I think makes sense, right?
Okay.
A deal that makes sense is what was the deal? Kyrie, a 3-team deal. Kyrie to Miami, right?
Mm-hmm.
In exchange for Ben Simmons going to Brooklyn and your boy Thickums going on over to
Philly.
In addition to Thickums going there, they would also get Victor Oladipo. So Victor Oladipo and Thickums going to Philly. Kyrie goes to Miami, and then Ben Simmons goes to the 76ers. I mean, I was scared to Brooklyn.
That's a solid.
That makes sense to me on from all the chords. That makes sense. And here's the reason why I think that makes sense to me. Because to be quite honest, I'm a big fan of Tyrese Maxey. He from Texas, so been following him for a little while, though, man. And I believe he's the truth, bro. I think he's one of those players that I was telling you about on the sidebar conversation that I expect to step up and really go next level with these contracts. Like there's a few rookies, 2-year players that I'm just really expecting. Cam Reddish is another one that I'm really waiting to see what he gonna do. But Tyrese Maxey can ball, and if he's what I think if he is what I think he is, he plays point guard, and he would be different for Philly than Ben Simmons. But if he grows into what he could max out to be, though, bro, I don't think that it'll be that big of a loss considering how Philly could actually play with the floor more open and not as close with Ben Simmons not shooting it on up like that, bro. So I think that would be good look for him.
Plus, VO and Thickums will shoot, so that would work.
And Fields is only on a 1-year deal. I think he signed a 1 or 2 year deal. So it's almost like you got some room to play around with them if it don't work out this time. Teams are always looking for those guys to be included in expiring contracts. So I get that, but I think that it would be a good look because then you get the point guard play by you having Thickums there. You also get Victor Oladipo for the additional scoring and defense. So in total, those two could make up for what Ben Simmons does for you. And I think that those aren't just necessarily role players. I think that both of them are starting player quality guys, though. So,
yeah.
But listen, it's still on the NBA, though. Let me ask you this, though. So the big wave, the conversation here over the last couple of days is the NBA's top 75 list, right? Every day they've been rolling out 25 more top 75 players. And no, I don't believe that they're in any particular order. I could be wrong, but they've been rolling out these 75. Lots of, when you put together lists like that, there's always people that the shout of snubs, like even put together an all-star team, right? All-star game. You got 15 people that can make it, and there's always to talk about somebody being snubbed. Have you been keeping up with this first and foremost?
No. Bro, not at all. I'm just saying, bro, it's one of those things. Lists are not for me. Like even when we on here and we, talk about like the best R&B groups or the top 50 rappers and stuff like that, man, listen, at the end of the day, these lists are subjective. So for me, that's where it becomes convoluted because it's like how, even with the NBA releasing the list, there's still some human element behind it. And so the thing is that I shy away from that. I haven't looked at the list, haven't wanted to know who was on the list. It's not for me. But since we're on the pod, let's talk about it. But I'm just saying it's not for me, bro.
Hey, listen, man. There are some questionable. So this is the thing about it. Okay, I agree with you that even if it's just a little subjectiveness, right? Yeah. Even a little qualifies as subjective, right? Yeah. With that being said, though, man, here's the one thing I think that had some influence on this list, because I remember 25 years ago, the NBA did the top 50 players list, and I thought that was probably, you got to think, that was 25 years ago, so it was more relevant to when we were like in high school and the players at that time. I thought that list, I don't think there was anyone who was left off that list that should have been on there, right? I thought that was solid. But I think that now you look at it 25 years later, and you got a lot of players that have came along since that list. Kobe Bryant wasn't that Kobe Bryant, right? Tracy McGrady wasn't even in the league. He was in high school still. Vince Carter. So all these current players and all of these players from like 98 on to now. I think that list was put together in like 2000. And I'm sorry, like 1996 or something like that, right? So different lists now, though, man. But I think that there are a couple of noteworthy names, though, man. So like on the list, there are some old timers, right? So like I believe like Bernard King wasn't on this list, and Bernard King was on it before. I think Mitch Richmond was on the list before. If I could be wrong on that. But I do have a gripe, and maybe this is because of how I view certain players. And by the way, shout out to Brittany Rowe for jumping in, and shout out to the homeboy Lil Chris, who still need to come and take these L's out here in Atlanta. If I catch him out here, he gonna catch these L's on the court. And Melvin for checking in as always. But listen though, Ace, I think maybe I look at people differently, right? And maybe it's me, But this list also confirmed how I view people, right? But what stood out to me about three names. No Vince Carter, right? No Mutombo, no Vince Carter, no Tracy McGrady, right? No, for reaching, you can reach and say Alonzo Mourning,
Mono Ginobili.
no Mano Ginobili, no Tony Parker. I'm not mad at that though.
Of course.
I'm not mad that Tony Parker is not.
Muggsy Bogues on there?
Muggsy Bogues is not on there. Allen Iverson is on the list. But I think Ace, Grant Hill is not on the list, and I got a problem with that.
Ace, and that's what I'm. That right there is what I'm talking about. Because here's my thing, right? I was talking to Deuce on the way home yesterday from his practice, and we were talking about it. And I even said, like, my list and your list would be different. You know, that's why you get the age, the endless conversation of Jordan versus LeBron on who's better, right? You know, for us who have watched Jordan play, who've like seen him play, it's a no-brainer for most people that I know, right? It's very few people who've watched Jordan play that says LeBron is better than Jordan. I know that there are some people that do, I get it. But I'm saying the majority of people that I personally know, when we talk about Jordan and LeBron and they've actually seen Jordan play, then it's Jordan. So for that alone, like the reason why everybody's list is different is because the criteria for what makes your list is different. So
listen. Ace, now that I think about it, bro. Now that I think about this, I do got a problem with three people on this list that I think could very well, like I said, because it's all about what kind of perspective do you put on their careers. Here's the three people who I personally have a problem with, and I'll tell you why I have a problem with them being on the list. I just realized this, bro. I got a problem that Paul Pierce is on the list, though, bro. I have a problem with Paul Pierce being on the list mainly because I don't think that I know that Paul Pierce won the championship. But to me, if I'm keeping it 1,000, I was more so glad that Kevin Garnett got a ring, not that Paul Pierce got a ring. But I look at that, I never thought at any point that I think Paul Pierce was better than Vince Carter. Like, aside from his championship ring, he has way fewer accolades and way fewer accomplishments than Vince Carter, right? He's way less accomplished. He's never led the league in scoring. He's only been like first team All NBA maybe one time. He's not known as a defensive person. That doesn't matter to me if James Harden is on the list. I get that. But I'm saying, like, offensive greatness, I never looked at Paul Pierce. And said, yo, he a top 5 player in the league. At any point in Paul Pierce's career, have you ever looked at Paul Pierce and said, yo, he top 5 active right now?
No, not honestly. But let me ask you this. Did they have was Robert Horry on the list?
Robert Horry is not on the list. I can understand why he's not on the list.
Why is that?
Because if you're going off of all-time winners, then of course he's on the list, right? But I think that Robert Horry was a role player, and he came through. He did his role well. But I think that part of the reason why a lot of these guys did is that he wouldn't have is that the majority of his career, he was basically a role player. And when you look at his numbers don't warrant some of the other players, right? That did make it. But Paul Pierce, though, bro, he got the one ring, and I understand that he have it. But to me, the one ring, Paul Pierce, listen, I personally think Klay Thompson may be a better all-time player than Paul Pierce. Like, I know that Paul Pierce was a good scorer, but I'm saying, if I'm being honest, Klay Thompson is a top 4 shooter of all time. Steph Curry is in a class of his own. So if you want to say Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, Klay Thompson, whoever put those in order, well, Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, and Steph is on the list, and Klay is not on the list. So that's my only problem. I think you can take Paul. I would have been okay with you taking Paul Pierce off and putting Klay Thompson on the list. I would have been okay with that.
See, and everything that you're saying is the points why it's irrelevant to me. Like it means nothing to me.
Let me tell you this. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Here aside from Paul Pierce, and I'm gonna keep it 1,000 because I try to not. Yes, Brittany wrote KG is on the list. But here is the biggest problem that I have with the list, though. Ace Kennedy, Anthony Davis is on the list. Right, you know how we talk about Anthony Davis in the playoffs, and we always say, if Anthony Davis plays well, if he comes through, if this, that, and the other, that same Anthony Davis is on the top 75 players list, along with Dame Dollar. Now, listen, I'm a big fan of Dame Dollar, and I like Anthony Davis, but 75? I don't what? But Bernard King, listen. Bernard King is Dame. I've never looked at Dame like he's better, like all time, like maybe now, right? Because I look at Dame, look at these, talk about these separately. Because I remember when Dame barely made the All-Star game, even though he was hooping, because Luka for the last 2 years was battling for that same spot. And so I'm just sitting here thinking, like, I like Dame. I love Dame. He's one of my favorite players to watch. I love watching him and Russell Westbrook go at it, right? Epic. But I'm just sitting here thinking, in the grand scheme of things, I respect the way that he never left, how he stayed down for Portland. And he said, y'all can come play with me, but I'm not interested in going anywhere else. I respect that. And I thought maybe personally that's why that held down as much weight. But he isn't more accomplished than Klay.
No, I get
that. Am I
tripping? I get that. It's just it's hard because I like Dame. I like the stuff that he does. I don't, like you said. It seems weird.
This is why I always tell you, Ace Kennedy, that being the number one guy matters, right? This is why I tell you that when you go somewhere and you're the 1A versus the 1B, why in the grand scheme of listing, which is, that's right up my alley, but why certain things hold more weight? Because there's a reason why Paul George isn't on the list.
Now, did Pippen or
Rodman is on the list? Rodman is on the list. Yeah, here's the other part too, right? Pippen made the all 50 list, right? But if we think about this now, right? Fast forward. Is Klay Thompson better than Scottie Pippen to you?
See, I think Klay is more so known for his shooting, whereas Pippen was an all-around player.
Time out, because let me stop you. Klay Thompson guards the best player on every team that they play. Every single team that the Warriors play, Klay Thompson guards the best player every single time.
Bro, I'm not disrespecting.
No. I'm just saying. Listen, I think that Scottie Pippen, it was good for Scottie Pippen to be on the first time the NBA did this in the top 50 players, because at that time, I think Pippen was. But the same way how I told you that Nas isn't in my top 5 because now more has happened, right? You got more history. You got more data to go by. I got to be honest with you, though, man. I think Pippen is probably the most popular number 2 player of all time. He's the greatest number 2 player ever. But I don't think
I'd have Pippen on my list before AD.
Let's talk about AD. Because listen, I think, bro, that AD is who I got a problem with, bro. More than anything. I don't have if you let Paul Pierce go there, that's fine. I'm all right. Let's say
I'd have Paul Pierce off the list before Pippen.
I would have Paul Pierce off the list before Pippen as well. Yes. Listen, but here's the thing about it, though, bro. This is the thing. The thing that I don't let slide, right? This is where we're coming. What I don't let slide, I don't necessarily let slide when people get toward the end of their careers and they're in the league still and they fall off. So for some people, they've seen Vince Carter for the last 7 years as Vince Carter, the old guy that comes in to shoot the threes, and never seen the dunk contest that it's over Vince, right? And so the same way how I'm not going to let Pippen slide, that Pippen in his last couple of years with Portland, in the last couple of years he was chasing the ring with another ring with the Rockets, and I'm not going to let it slide that Paul Pierce played for the Wizards and Brooklyn and also the Clippers. I'm not going to let that slide. But I do have a problem with AD. And here's what I have a problem with AD. The problem that I have with AD is the fact that Dwight Howard's not on the list. And so for me, if you telling me, right, let's just say hypothetically, if you just had in his prime, Dwight Howard, and whatever prime you want to say is AD, right? If you say right now AD is in his prime, right? I would on any day take Dwight Howard in his prime over AD. And the reason for that is that I think that what people have always did, bro, is I think that people have always given AD a lot of credit because of his talent, right? Everybody says, oh, he is a 6'10" big man that can play defense. He can do all of these things. And at the end of the day, what expectations have anybody ever had from AD until he started playing with LeBron? Because I told you, when he left to go to the Lakers, that means you conceded to being the number one guy and you're the number two guy, right? So you were out there in the Pelicans.
You already know that I don't have the same value on that as you do. So that didn't mean anything to me. For me, that meant, hey, I've given you guys the opportunity to put people around me to help me win, and it didn't work. So now I want to win a championship, which is the goal for this job, is to win a championship.
So you don't have a problem with LeBron then leaving to Cleveland?
I don't, because LeBron finished his contract.
Okay.
And just
AD
like
didn't.
He didn't. But at the same time, I told you I am for the players. I am for the players. So if because when a team chooses to get rid of you, they will. The only player I had issue with that left was Kevin Durant. And it's not even about the fact that he left. It's how he left and who he left with. That's the only thing.
Listen, Rocky, if you telling me, bro, Rocky, my sad brother from another mother who has highly favored on all streaming platforms right now, if you telling me that this Anthony Davis in his prime is better than Dwight Howard in his prime, then you almost have me question your eyes, one, right? Or that you just haven't watched enough basketball. And I know that we one day apart, and seeing that I'm a day older, you gotta take your senior into consideration. And trust me, bro, I've never watched. This is the thing about it, Ace. I have never seen AD go off in a game where I said, wow, he is the most dominant person on the court ever. Listen, I think that AD is, you may look at him and say he's the most talented person on the court, but I've never looked at him and said, yeah, you know what, man? Put like this, Orlando built around him, and he was around Dwight Howard. He was in a small market, just like AD was. I think the difference was, bro, is just that Dwight Howard was just more dominant. Like listen, it almost has me thinking, was Dwight Howard in his prime more dominant than Patrick Ewing in his prime, bro? I think he might be. But when I was looking
I
at
don't
AD
remember
and
seeing Patrick Ewing play, so I can't really say.
listen, Anthony Davis, let's just be, if we gonna keep it a stack here, let's keep it a stack. Anthony Davis in New Orleans was exactly what Kevin Love was when he was in the Timberwolves in Minnesota. He was a good player, putting up great numbers on a sorry team, bro. If we being honest, and so that's my problem, though, bro. It's like I get that he won a ring, but you won a ring after you've conceded. You don't want that number one player smoke no more, bro. And that's the problem I have with AD being on the list.
Do you put Chris Bosh in that category too?
I do put Chris Bosh in that list as well, because here's the thing. Chris Bosh was the guy, and the minute that he left to go join, and it's different for LeBron, because when LeBron went to go join, everybody else conceded, right? Chris Bosh conceded. Dwayne Wade conceded and said, you the guy, take us to the promised land, right? But the minute that you go join forces with somebody else to be the number two guy, it's a wrap. And I have to judge AD in terms of a number two player. But so he put up a lot of great numbers. What's up?
Who's the number two in Brooklyn?
James Harden is the number two in Brooklyn.
No, I'm talking about with Kyrie and KD when they joined at the same time.
Kyrie's the number three guy. He's the number three out. He's the third best player on their team.
Okay.
Question for you. Is Kyrie one of the top 75 players?
I would say so.
Really?
Yeah. He has a ring. The stuff that he does is pretty unmatched. Based upon the criteria, if Dame is on the list, I don't see why Kyrie ain't.
Is Dame better than Kyrie? And Brittany wrote, don't say LeBron wouldn't have won without Kyrie, because LeBron won without Kyrie. Kyrie's never won anything without LeBron till this day.
I would say that Kyrie is better than Dame, but if I was starting a team, I would definitely I would get Dame versus Kyrie.
You think, because I agree with you, but I am surprised, right? That you
I'm taking the objectiveness out of. I'm trying to be objective. I'm trying to take the personal out of it, because personally I think Dame is better than Kyrie, but I'm saying realistically, then if you're looking at all the criteria, I would have to say that Kyrie is better than Dame. But I mean, that hurts to say that, though.
Listen, bro. I think both of them have this uniqueness that makes them different. Like I think that Kyrie's uniqueness is different from Dame's uniqueness. I think that what hurts Dame in that regards is almost like the same way how I would never even put Kobe in the conversation with LeBron and Jordan, because everything that Dame's doing, I've seen it done. I see it done better with Steph, but I've never seen nobody do some of the stuff that Kyrie does. And that to me is what makes him unique.
100%.
Yeah. But listen, y'all need to stop acting like when it comes to Dwight Howard. Y'all letting all this stuff about the boy messing around with these gay dudes, y'all letting him getting traded and playing for the Hornets and the Wizards and the Hawks, those last 5 years, people are letting that taint their view on Dwight Howard. People are letting him playing with Kobe and that not working out taint his view, bro. Dwight Howard for 9 years was probably one of the more dominant players in the NBA. And this is when Kobe was in his prime. This is when LeBron was entering his prime as well, though, bro. And I think that stop. I've never looked at, and never have I looked at AD the way I've looked at Dwight Howard in terms of his impact on the game, though. He's more talented, but the dominance, nah, he ain't with him, though, bro.
Yo, what's this about Watson going to Miami?
Which Watson? Oh my gosh. Yeah, they think that he's finally gonna get traded there. I hope you didn't say he got traded since we've been on.
Nah, I ain't got no Bleacher Report update.
Okay, yeah. But they're trying to get him out of there, man. I guess it makes sense. But the big question is who they're gonna trade for him. And the obvious thing is to get Tua, right? So I don't know. That's a good question though, bro. But if you just drafted Tua with the first round draft pick, though, man, it's like I got to be honest. I expected Tua to come out there and light the league on fire, though, bro. He's left a lot to be desired, bro.
Yeah, but I think Tua's just in a position where he needs to go to a place that's more well established. It's hard for these rookies to go to a team and turn it around, bro. It's hard.
No, I'm gonna be honest. I can't say that. I can't say that I agree with that, Ace. Because here's the thing. If I'm keeping it a hundo, I was very impressed at how Joe Burrow looked, how comfortable he looked. I was very impressed with how Justin Herbert looked, and I didn't see that in college, right? And not just that though, man. I was very impressed with the circumstances of how Jalen Hurts is handling playing in Philly, right?
The thing is, bro, when you're running for your life every play, it's hard to be productive. Prime example, right? You look at Justin Fields, his first game that he started, and they sacked him 9 times. Couldn't do anything.
Justin Fields looked better than Tua.
Not in that game, he didn't.
Well, I guess what I'm saying though, bro, is that I thought more than those guys that Tua was more prepared for the league. But it makes me
Tua
almost
didn't play. He hadn't played. He had been hurt.
No.
So what are you talking about? How he's going to be prepared?
When Tua came in for Jalen Hurts, he let it on fire for 2 years. I'm saying
he got hurt.
No, I get that. I understand that he was hurt. But what I'm saying to you is that I thought that in terms of readiness and saying, no, this player looks like he can go into the league, put him on the field now, and he'll contribute.
I would have told you. I would have 3 days out the week, 4 days out the week. I would have said Burrow.
But let's say so. So if he had never been injured, right, you would have thought the same thing about Tua.
100%.
Now I thought that Tua. Listen, I'm gonna be honest. I do respect Joe Burrow's run in LSU, right? I respect all of that. The part that this is the part that I question about Tua, right? Because now Tua almost has me thinking like, bruh, were you just playing like that because your team was just that much better than everybody else? Because you had track stars all at wide receiver. So yeah, your numbers should look good. But Joe Burrow had 2 as well. But he's doing exactly what I saw him do in college, bro.
Yeah, but we also saw an inflated number with Tua too because of the team he played for. My thing is that if he was doing that same thing on Cincinnati or Houston or something like that, it'll be one
Joe
thing.
Joe Burrow's doing exactly. He's making all the throws.
I'm talking about if Tua was doing that on a lesser team, if he was on Florida, if he was on
and I get that. I agree with you. I get what you're saying, but I'm saying that Joe Burrow didn't have a lesser team, right? And he's doing the exact same thing. So I'm just saying that I thought that what Joe Burrow is doing is what I expected Tua to be doing.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I hope everybody gets what they want out of the trade, because if Tua needs a fresh start somewhere else, and if they trade him to Houston, okay, so be it.
Hey, you know who else needs this on a whole other note? I think that it's about time for Odell to get traded, bro.
Why?
Listen, man. Listen. So I think either one or two things, bro. So say what you had to say about Eli, right? But Eli was able to make them throws and he was able to throw Odell open a lot of plays. It worked well. Either one or two things are happening, Ace. Either Baker isn't that good, right? Or Odell just don't got it no more, bro. And I don't know.
I think Baker is good, bro. I mean, you got a lot of hurt pieces over there to include him. But you think that if he went to Tampa or the Chiefs or something that he would produce?
I think he might. Here's the thing about it, because this is what I think. Okay, Jarvis Landry hadn't played. He missed a few games, right? And he comes right back in, scores a touchdown, and he looks the part. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, ever since Odell has been in Cleveland, I haven't seen him get down not one time, right? And then it's like, even though he isn't getting down, it's like it used to be where I think that he struck some kind of fear in DB's heart, like it's going to be a tough guard. I think that they treat him like, oh, hey, I can, Doc. I think that, listen, while I hate the Cowboys, I think that Trayvon Diggs will have no problem covering Odell, bro.
Well, that's not if you saying that's not a Baker thing, that's an Odell thing.
That's what I think that Odell. I think, and he's back from injury, and I get that sometimes it may take you a little while and everything like that, but I'm just sitting here saying, though, bro, like, he looks guardable to me now, right? And so it's like, either if somebody is guardable and your quarterback can't throw you open, then it's like, all right, maybe that's a little bit of both, but a lot of it to me. But Jarvis Landry coming back and looking the part in that game just told me enough, though, bro. It's weird, but I think that Odell needs to get up out of there, bro. I don't know who he goes to. He need to go to probably, he don't need to go there. Damn, I don't
Chicago.
He can go to Chicago. I don't know who the hell y'all got throwing the ball.
Justin Fields.
Who y'all throwing the ball to? Who's y'all wide receivers now?
I don't know.
Oh hell. I saw somebody say he need to go to Jacksonville, and it doesn't. No, I don't. I low key kind of wanted him to go to the Saints. I think that would have been a good look. Because I don't know what's going to be with Michael Thomas. I don't think Michael Thomas is going to be with us next year. So I don't know. Yeah,
Yo, bro,
I don't know.
Tell me, I have 3 phrases that bother me. What do you have phrases that completely just like grind your gears?
So the most obvious one to me is when I hear the Memphis rappers and that's the game I'm trying to catch also, Brittany Road, that Falcons Saints game though. So yeah. That would be a good look for him in Green Bay. But Aaron Rodgers don't look for nobody else but Devontae though, bro. I think this was funny. I can't even tell if nobody else on the Packers can actually get open or not, because Aaron Rodgers only looks for Devontae. But anywho, that's a good point. But Ace, so you know what I hate when people say somebody's stressing them out, bro. I would rather get punched in the face than they just sit here and just keep. And so when I hear, and I don't know if it's a region thing, they're gonna say yeast. Some people
say moist.
Some people say moist though, man, and people just say moist. Just, this is what I hate. You know what I hate?
Hold on, because you gave me one. I got to give you one of mine.
What's that,
bro? I hate with a passion, with a Jason knife passion. I hate when people say once and for all. Like
once and for all.
So listen, wrestling overuses that term. So he's gonna defeat him once and for all, but it's their third match. Like, stop, bro. I hate when they say once and for all.
I hate when people say irregardless. I hate it so bad, bro. Irregardless of the fact. I hate it so bad.
What's the other one? Hold on.
Back and forth.
Definitely local artists is such that
local artists. What grinds your gears about local artists, bro?
Because to me, like, my thing is, what makes somebody a local artist? Wherever you live, you're an artist. Like that term to me puts you in this bubble or this box that you cannot get out of. Like support your local artist. I hate it so bad. I am an independent artist. Say independent. Don't say local.
So local makes it seem like you have no aspirations outside the city.
That's it. That's your only thing. No, I'm an independent artist. I hate that.
I got. I know. Here's one that it's been this generation who makes me hate this phrase. But I hate when people say toxic masculinity, bro. I hate everything about it. Like I hate everything about what it infers to. I hate everything about the phrase, everything about toxic masculinity. Like I would rather get kicked in the nuts with Timberlands on than to hear that, bro.
Bro, I hate, and I'm talking about hate. I hate when people say, with all due respect.
With all due respect. With all due, she said squirt. I don't mind squirt.
I don't
squirt.
mind squirt at all.
Yeah, I think squirt.
She on her own. She on her own.
Yeah. You might be on your own on that. But with all due respect, you on your own on that.
I hate that, bro. I hate it. With all due respect, because it's like you already know what that means. It means the next thing I'm saying.
The next name is gonna be some disrespect. You know what I hate. You know what I hate, bro. This is the thing that. Probably the only thing more than toxic masculinity that I hate is when I hear somebody say alpha male or alpha female. Like to me, that just means when somebody, especially when you refer to yourself as an alpha male, to me, I look at it. This is I hate to even say it, but it almost seems like Paul George calling himself, it's playoff Pete. Like nobody give you that name. And so when you gotta say that I'm an alpha male, no, you're not. You just don't know when to shut the hell up. Or nobody's whipped your ass yet, bro. I hate that so badly.
Along with that story, so when I was at the airport at my layover, I was sitting next to some couples. They was talking. It was like three dudes and this woman. And so they was like, yeah, since we stuck here, we should go out. We should do this. And he was like, yeah, you've never seen the drunk me or whatever like that. And I'm just thinking like, and she was like, well, yeah, I've kind of seen it on all levels, but nah, you ain't seen this version of drunk me. Like, I hate when people think that they drunk self is the most, the funnest person ever. Like, I hate it. I hate it.
But alpha though, like this is one thing about it. When a female says she's an alpha female, right? I look at her and I just be like, womp, womp. The minute that I hear alpha female, everything else might as well just be womp, 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 womp. Like, because I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, bro, really? Like alpha, like what makes you, like everything about how people have flipped this concept of wolf pack and say, and to human, like I hate it. Ace, I had one that I just forgot that was on the
bro. I actually have one that you say all the time, and I hate to even tell you because I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna say it even more. But you say it all the time, and every time you say it, it feels like somebody is pulling little hairs at the top of my head, bro. You say your phrase is with all things considered.
With all things considered. I do say with all things considered all the time, bro. Listen, bro. I don't know where I picked it up at, man, but I say with all things considered 2 to 3 times a day. It's regular, bro. I'm talking about.
I know. And you say it at least 3 or 4 times a conversation.
Oh man. Like it's almost like a combination of saying, with all due respect, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, nah, I say it all the time though, man. I say it all the time. The other thing that is interesting though, man, is that what else? Oh, you know what let me tell you what I hate. And I don't know why I hate this, but with all things considered, because I love her to death, Megan Thee Stallion, the Texas Treasure, who should be protected at all times. Bro, what I absolutely hate is when she say hottie. And then she got hottie sauce, though, bro. And I was like, no, bro. Love me some her, though, bro. But I hate hottie. And I only hate that she says it, which there's very few things about her that I dislike. But she got that hottie sauce at Popeyes, though, bro. And I was like, oh, my gosh, man.
Yeah. Well, cool, brother. What you got planned for the weekend?
Man, she says I hate when Ply say, "B." I like when Ply say that though, man. Listen, I like when that boy Ply say that though, man. Um, no, this weekend though, man. So it's interesting because this weekend is we kind of have since I'm volunteer coaching though, man. We have a coaches clinic this weekend, so I'm gonna go ahead and check that on out. And I think other than that, we got our final game of my basketball season to determine if we go on to the playoffs. The cool thing though is that I'm looking. The team was already talking about running the league back, which is going to be interesting because I got to figure out if I'm playing in a league and then I'm coaching in a league. I got to figure out. I think that my games would be on Sundays, and I think that these games are on like Saturdays. So I got to figure that whole thing out, though, man. But I think that for the next, maybe until February, man, my my weekends might be jam packed, man. I'm sold up, man. What about you? What you got to go on this weekend?
Bro, I'm making nachos tonight and watching the movie.
What you watching?
Dune.
I'm trying to read these comments real quick before we slide. I did see Adele and Rich Paul on the sidelines. Oddly enough, I didn't see it until Neek pointed it out. Was watching the Hawks game last night, and we see Chloe Bailey on the sideline, and she's on the sideline with Gunner of all things. Now, listen, here's the one thing I think that is interesting about this, though, Ace. So Gunner had been shooting his shot in her comments for a hot minute, right? And apparently she took him on up on the offer, and these boys went to a date there at the Hawks game courtside, though, man. So shout out to him because you win by shooting that shot. Hey, man, you miss every shot you don't take, though, bro. So, yeah, it was pretty cool, though, man.
Yeah. So, I'm about to make these nachos as soon as I get off here, and we watching Dune tonight, brother.
I'm trying to catch that Dune myself, though, man. I'm trying to see if the fan wanted to go ahead and peep it. But once I said that it's kind of like Star Wars, sci-fi, they was like, bro, you better go on somewhere with this. So,
hey,
I might be watching
y'all who got
myself.
HBO Max, bro, and if you watch Succession, season 3 is out, and it's already fire. I'm telling y'all, Succession, y'all need to get on it.
Before we get out of here, are you big on... Are you Pretty had a good question here. Y'all seen the Halloweens? No, I haven't. I'm not that into like horror films. Or is that one? I've never heard you really talk about going to see them.
Me and the boys went. Me, Layla, and Deuce. We all went to go see it together. Like, I'm into it, bro.
I'm not. That's the thing. The last time I was in, like, as an adult, maybe when I got as an adult, I don't know what movie I saw, but I wasn't real like jumpy behind the movies, right? And so like I might watch a movie that's scary, but it has to be like a thriller, not just a straight horror movie.
You don't like slasher films or jump scares.
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't like the jump. I'm not a big slasher film guy.
I'm gonna watch the new Halloween. I haven't seen the previous one before I watch Halloween Kills. I need to watch the other one because what they basically did was they retconned all of the other Halloweens except for the very first Halloween that came out. So like H2O and all of those are retconned, and it starts the last Halloween, this one, and then they got another one coming out.
Retcon.
Yeah. So basically, like, say if
you're using these industry terms.
No, it's not an industry term. It's just basically saying, so like, say if in Star Wars, right? And they say we're gonna retcon the new trilogy. So that means that 7, 8, 9, it doesn't exist. That's basically what retcon means. Like, it doesn't exist. So that's what they did to the Halloween story.
You know what lost me on the Halloween? This is probably right around the time I was lost. Okay, so and just horror, not just Halloween, but and I tried to come back with the Saws. When they made all the additional Saws, I was like, no, I was cool with the first one. And then when you start going down to 2, 3, I was like, no. But what started it for me though, bro, is when I saw the Halloween and I saw Busta Rhymes jump spin kick Michael Myers, and I was like, all right, I'm done. I can go home now. I done seen enough.
You ain't got to worry about it. It's retcon.
With all things considered,
then
it don't matter if it's with all things considered, it doesn't matter if it's retcon or not. Busta Rhymes in the jump spinning wheel kick, perfectly executed, messed it up for me. And a close second was when the boxer, was putting them hands on Jason and he punched the dude head off. Like, stop it.
All right, bro.
Listen, on that note, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the Slash Brothers YouTube page. Every episode is streamed on Facebook and YouTube. So we there. Listen, shout out to the homegirl, Brittany Rowe jumping in. Shout out to my boy, Rakita Rizil in the comments. Again, his album, highly favored, streaming on all platforms. Ace Kennedy, album Slipping Away, streaming on all platforms. Charlie Venus, the Bell at 2, live from 1999, streaming on all platforms. 2 new singles streaming on, listen, Brittany Rowe music streaming on all platforms. Listen, man, people's out here doing some things, though, man. Hey, on the next week's episode, we are definitely having, we'll continue with the independent artists. One of the things that I wanted to provide an update on that we didn't get to talk about today, Ace, was I wanted to provide an update. I've been giving it a shot. We're listening to these new rappers, and listen, it's not looking great. It is not looking good, bro. And it's interesting timing because I saw that I saw a tweet that people were talking about from Tory Lanez talking about music today, modern music, is repetitive and redundant. I'm sitting here thinking, like, listen, I haven't heard the next 2 Tory Lanez songs, but I kind of got a feeling I know what he's going to talk about.
Yes,
I kind of know.
His album, Brittany.
So I think that there are some things that we got to talk about if we go sit here and talk about this new music. But I want to give an update, but it's not looking good, bro. It's not. Ace Kennedy, can we get the music?
Yeah, and don't forget next Friday, Halloween on the Slash Brothers podcast. Let's get it.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time.
With all things considered.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
If you smell